Hey guys, welcome to the Accelerator Revenue. It's totally the opposite. Welcome to the Revenue Accelerator Podcast, where either way it works. Just caught our guest Chelsey off guard by hitting the record button without giving her warning. So that's how this show is going to go. So I am actually going to let Chelsey introduce herself because we all know people do a better job than I ever would. So Chelsey, who are you and why should we care?
Thanks, Kat. I'm Chelsey Marie, and I'm a brand and web designer to entrepreneurs with big visions who want to translate that into clients and truly convert using all areas of their online presence.
Nice.
That's me.
Awesome. And really amazing at what you do. Like one of the things that I love about you is, well, we have the same philosophies as it comes to, generating leads and building our client base. And it's really based on that foundational concept of building relationships and nurturing
Yeah.
people through to when they are ready to make a purchase and not seeing people as transactional components on our way to whatever figures we want to hit in our business. So you work a lot with branding and helping people really be brave in it because there's this concept out there between what is branding. So let's just start with that. Like what branding, right? Like is it a superhero mask? Is it
Right. What is it, right? I mean, it's natural that this term has become very confusing in the online marketing space, especially because, traditionally your brand is your identifying mark, right? Your logo. But it's become so much more than that because online they're not going to see your logo a lot of the time. They're going to see your face. They're going to see the words that you're using, how consistently you're showing up. So in my opinion, your brand is anything and everything that can leave a first impression. So you might want to write that down, but it really only takes 3 seconds for someone who's scrolling Facebook or Instagram or even Google to make a decision whether or not they're going to click read more or click away for good. And whatever they see during that 3 seconds is really what makes up your brand. So that is how I define a brand with my clients.
That's awesome. So, I've seen, brands that are out there, hashtag also my website. And I have my experience of, I went from this very blah corporate kind of lots of white space because I didn't know who I was kind of branding into
Yeah.
something that it's like total opposite of the spectrum. And I'm currently starting to, rework on my branding because I went from one end to the other. And I'm somewhere kind of more around here in terms of not all of my values are being communicated in my brand and stuff like that. So what's your advice for people who tend to just kind of swing from one end to the other? Like, how do you get it right first or
Oh,
next?
such a hard. Right, well, right. Like, I mean, everyone wants to get it right the first time. And I think that when it comes to branding, like, of course we want to get it right the first time, but you do have to start somewhere, right? And when you approach branding, there's kind of two concepts. You can look at it and you can go, okay, this is everything I am, and I'm going to be exactly who I am, and people will come, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the second kind of lens that we often see is this is my target demographic. This is who I'm helping. I'm going to be everything that they expect, right? I'm going to kind of put on a costume and fit the mold. And
Mm-hmm.
there's somewhere in between here where you need to understand who you are. So the vision you have for your business model, like how are you going to grow it? What products and services are you going to offer? And having a clear understanding of the values that you truly want to communicate and the feeling that you want people to have when they interact with you, right? So those kind of three things that are kind of our authentic branding becomes defined. And then we want to look at who your target market is. So, who are the dream clients that you really want to work with? What's important to them? What problems do they have?
Yeah.
And then when you blend those two together, that's how you bridge the gap between these like polar opposite things. And that's just about being clear on your vision, right? Um, but you do have to put something out there and get started and get that feedback in order, to stay consistent.
Yeah, and I mean, we see this with even, the top gurus, right? Like they go through rebranding. So we look at, Marie Forleo, we look at Amy Porterfield, we look at, whoever else, Oprah. Yes, I'm using females, but, that's because there's not a lot of male influencers that I think aren't bro marketing. So sorry, you guys know what I stand for. And they go through iterations and they're going through refreshes. And how much do you agree with they're going through iterations of their website as they get clarity with who they work with and the kind of languaging that really converts people?
Well, it's true with any business, right? Like if we look at the large brands, we all start somewhere. And I think the thing to remember here is that you really need three things to gain confidence in your brand and how you're showing up, right? So it's first you have to be courageous enough to like show up and let go of that perfection, because we do have this idea that everything has to be perfect before it's posted. But that's silly, because the only one giving you feedback in that mindset is yourself, right? You're not hearing from your customers or seeing what catches fire with them. The second thing that you got to have is like the commitment. So you got to understand your vision. You got to be so committed to your dream as well as your dream clients. And then that third one is consistency. And we see this with Marie Forleo, for example. Marie TV did not show up like initially as this big production that it has become, with fancy editing and graphics speeding in and out of the frame, right? Like she literally was just a girl with a laptop on her couch answering questions. Like that's all it started as, but she did it every Tuesday. And so, that's what builds a brand over time, is being consistent. And you have the flexibility to change. You are human. So the fourth step is like to change and evaluate as you grow.
Right. Bonus steps, right? Giving ourselves that permission. So I know there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, that's great and all good, but really a website is just an expensive business card. It's just there. It's for, it's window coverings essentially. So obviously you're biased since you're in branding, but it's also because you're not biased in the sense that you've really helped people transform their websites into something a lot more special. So I'm kind of already starting to answer the question for you. I'm going to let you keep going.
No, it's fine. I mean, okay. So yeah, website. I have a lot of clients. I mean, I feel like I've heard you say it too, Kat. You're like, it's there, doesn't do anything for my business, right? But like, the thing is that that's not 100% true. We need to give websites more credibility. I think with social media, we see that like it's very possible to get started without a website. And even as a designer and a web designer, I'm going to be the first person to tell you that like the first thing you need is not necessarily a website. Like you don't need a website before you sell something. You need a website to scale and grow your business to a new level. And so for the last 9 years, that's really what I've specialized in, is working with entrepreneurs to take their business from, just before 6 figures to multiple six, and like higher level sixes and even 7 figures, because that's the tool that's going to get more eyes on it, because your social media is not going to be enough at some point. And websites, I was speaking at a conference one time and a woman asked me if websites are dead, and I did a blog post on it, but like they're not dead. Oh my gosh, Jarvis. My dog is like whining in the background.
I can't believe your name's dog is Jarvis. That's like the best news today. That just made my day.
So sorry if it distracts anyone. His name is Jarvis. It's from the Avengers. We're very nerdy in this house.
I'm all about the movie themes and action. So yes, my husband, instead of calling Siri, he calls it Jarvis.
I love that.
When he sends notes to himself, he'd be like, "Hey, Jarvis."
Right.
We just had a moment, guys. Just letting you know.
Side note, you might hear my dog Jarvis. He's co-hosting. Just kidding.
Right? Sound effects. We're fancy on this podcast.
Where was I? But basically, your website doesn't have to just sit there and be expensive. That's the biggest problem I see, is like people expect their website to just build it and like people will come, but
Right.
like that's not the reality. Is like you need to build your website with the intention of it not just being beautiful, but with it converting. So like how does it
Mm,
support your business model? A lot of people
mm.
start their websites before they know what their business model is. And if you don't know how you're going to become profitable as a business, how can you expect your website to make any money? Right?
Yeah, yeah. And it's what I love is it's you're not just going for there's a lot of people out there who can be like, I can build you a beautiful website and we can take these great branded shots and blah blah blah. You're really taking this to like the next level. What's the strategy behind what the website is supposed to do for you, right? It's not just supposed to sit out there and make you appear like an expert or be able to,
Right.
create instant authority. Yes, can websites do that? Sure. But that's what makes it an expensive business card. What you're talking about here is doing that and understanding how do we get the ROI on this investment? Because as I believe as well, anytime you make an investment in yourself and your business, there should be that return on investment multiple times over.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and at some point, and this is when you'll see that kind of like rebrand happen for entrepreneurs that are larger, is it's because your business has grown and your business doesn't reflect who you're becoming in your industry.
Mm,
A lot of times I see entrepreneurs build their website to support who they are right now and not who they want to become. And so in a year, it's like useless. And you just spent at least, $5,000 on a website that you maybe didn't even get that from, right? And that's the challenge. And so it's about not only building the website with your conversion in mind, like how are we going to actually use this website this year and potentially the next year? What are we going to add to it in the next year, right? Like having these things in mind so that you can brand forward so that you
mm.
can continue with like the core foundation of your brand without rehauling every single time you add something new.
Right. I love that branding forward, that concept, and really looking and envisioning out in terms of not who you are today and having the website be a current reflection, but who you want to be. Like I just had to reiterate that in case anybody missed it, which I'm sure they didn't. So what are you seeing that people are like unknowingly doing so wrong with their websites?
Hmm. Um,
Or maybe knowingly and they're just not fixing it.
Well, one of the biggest mistakes is they're making it all about them. Like
Mm.
it's like classic marketing, right? Like we think that, I mean, when we're starting out marketing or doing anything,
The
right?
royal
Like
we,
that
third person.
people need to know, about us before they say yes to us. And sure, that's true to a certain extent. But if you're literally not talking directly to the people who you want to support, then they're not going to hear you. They don't care about you until they know what you can do for them, right? And so
Mm.
a lot of these websites and the reasons that they don't convert is because it's literally just expert of this, and it's like all these fluffy terms that mean actually nothing.
Mm.
And then on top of that, they're overcomplicating their copy. This typically means your copy is long and drawn out and I have to scroll 5 million pages before I'm even gonna see anything
Right.
or know what this shit is about, right?
Right. Right.
um so that's kind of like the biggest mistake, is just overcomplicating copy and not being clear about, who and why,
Mm.
like who it's for and why they need it, and just having it focus on you.
Right. Well, and I know one of the things that you're really strong with is using imagery, right? And including that in terms of not just the color palette in terms of representing your energetic vibration, if you will, right? Like,
Yeah.
but using imagery to kind of reinforce, because we all know a picture's worth 1,000 words. Now, I will admit, when on my first website I was trying to show like the path forward, and I had this foggy picture of trees in the background with a bridge going through, and someone was like, yeah, that bridge looks like it's about to fall apart, it's old, it's like, it's dark at the other end. Like, where the hell are you bringing me? And I was like, I just thought it was a cool picture of a bridge. But like looking at things on that next level, right?
Yeah.
What do you recommend for people in terms of, kind of tapping into who they are, and using more of their, values in their branding?
There's two things. So first and foremost, I'd think about what is the number one feeling you want people to have when they interact with you. So instead of saying like, these are my values and this is what I stand for, think about how you want them to physically feel when they're looking at something, right? Because, different colors have different marketing psychology behind
Service
them, right?
agrees.
Yeah. And, so do fonts. And it's like, there's this great image of fonts that gives like such a clear example of this. But basically, it's like, I'll always love you. And it's in this like bloody, dripping, like red. And it's like grungy looking. It looks like someone spray painted it. Okay. And then the second visual is I will always love you. So same wording, but in this like scripty, pretty font, and it's red. They're like hypothetically the same concept, but one has a severely different connotation to it than the other.
One
And
is
so
murder.
murder or love. Murder
Right?
or love, right? So we got
Happiness
to
or
think
death.
about what is that feeling that we really want to create for our clients. So with me, my feeling is excitement. So with every piece of content I create, every image I choose for my website, I really come back to that question with, does this make me feel excited? If it doesn't make me feel excited, it's not going to make anyone else feel excited, right?
Right.
If it won't make me click through or click the like button or share or comment, no one else will.
Well, I mean, there's a concept, right? The website shame, right? Of being like not even pushing your website because you don't like the way it looks. And so you're not actually driving traffic because it's not an actual representation, not only, like we said, of who you are, but who you want to become.
Right. That means that's a big sign you need to do something like tomorrow, right? Like that is a big sign that something's
Well, and you
gotta
have some
change.
stuff that helps with people making those changes. So how can
Absolutely.
people learn more about you and what you do and kind of like you've got some, I can't believe some of the stuff you put out for free because I'm like, damn, like people charge for this.
Thank you. Yeah. So we actually have two things. So if you are in that website shame like space and you are making that copy, mistake, then you can pop on over and you can get the high converting homepage template. It's actually a guide straight from our course, Brave Your Own Brand, that will tell you all the questions you need to answer on your homepage to have it actually convert. It goes into quite a few other things, but that tool alone is like very juicy and worth about $97. And then we have a free class coming up where I'm going to go into my 5 steps around how to stand out. So it's called the Standout Brand. And in it, you're going to learn how to level up your online presence so that you captivate and convert more clients online.
Awesome. And where can people get the homepage and where can they get access to the free class on the Standout Brand?
Yeah, head over to IamChelseyMarie.com and click that What's New tab and you'll see those choices available for you.
Awesome. I am ChelseyMarie.com. So I am obviously Chelsey, Cheleas.
Ooh, no.
I can't see E. No, what?
Chelseysey.
Sey.
Yeah, you got it.
I'm that asshole who spells your name wrong. Marie, Mare. Look at that. I got one right. .com. No hyphens, nothing. Right?
I can't spell for shit sometimes, so I get it.
Yeah. It'll be in the show notes, guys, in the comment sections. So just don't listen to me and just click the link that works. Thank you so much for being with us today. Do you have any parting words for, anyone considering a rebrand or kind of who's sitting on the fence about it?
Yeah, just to be brave, genuinely, like being in business in 2020, which is when we're recording this, like it takes a huge amount of bravery to be who you are and put that out there in a way that like people could judge or click that like button or not say anything, right? And so, but the more that you do it, and the more visible your business will be. So take those brave steps.
Awesome, babe. Thank you so much, guys. Make sure you check it out. I am ChelseyMarie.com. Thanks again for being with us, babe.
Thanks for having me.